Hi, folks. This is Sid from 3-Minute Travel Tips. Welcome to 3-Minute Travel Tips Live. 3-Minute Travel Tips Live is a roundtable discussion with travel professionals and industry bloggers. We are here to talk about vacation topics in a little more detail. Each 30-minute show will feature a segment where we dig a little bit deeper than our usual 3-minute format. Vacation planning doesn't have to be complicated. We're all about offering video content to help make your vacation experiences memorable. Today we're in the middle of a trip. We're doing the second part of a two-part series on Adventures by Disney. Want to learn more about Adventures by Disney? Stay tuned. We've got the lowdown in 30 minutes or less. I'd like to introduce our guests. First up, we've got Monday Cleghorn. Monday is owner and president of Magic of Mickey Travel. Magic of Mickey Travel has earned quite an honor within the Disney organization. It is recognized by Disney to be an authorized Disney vacation planner. Monday, I see a little bit of that glow in your eyes from a certain trip from Italy. Welcome home.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm still glowing. I'm still excited.
I have no doubt. And your travel partner is also with us, and that is Gwen Rowe. Gwen is manager and a travel professional with Magic of Mickey Travel. And Gwen, you've had quite an adventure. Both of you returned from a absolutely wonderful trip to Italy. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, we had a blast.
Oh, my.
I have no doubt. Well, Adventures by Disney has earned quite a reputation within the travel industry, and really as far as within Disney itself. My understanding, ladies, is it has a reputation of having the highest level of guest satisfaction within the entire Disney collection. Ladies, based on this one trip, and y'all are Disney experts, would you say that's true?
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There's so much exclusivity in this trip, that you can't get anywhere else. There's no reason to say it's not, the highest level. I mean, the service is amazing.
Absolutely. Yep. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
Well, this is the second part of a two-part series we're doing on Adventures by Disney. In the first part, we covered the details describing what Adventures by Disney is all about. Monday and Gwen at that time were also broadcasting live from Rome, and they were describing what their adventures were like up to that point. Well, if you haven't had a chance to watch part one, I highly recommend you do it first, as it will help set the stage for what we're going to talk about today. We're actually going to pick up their adventure from where we left off. Now, ladies, if I remember correctly, after we recorded our segment, y'all were going somewhere special. Monday, where did you go?
Oh, we went to the Sistine Chapel. We went to the Vatican Museum, just privately. We didn't go with a whole bunch of other people, just us. It was amazing. They told us when we got there that every day they see between 22 and 25,000 people daily at the Vatican Museum, Sistine Chapel. You cannot take pictures in there. You are elbow to elbow with everybody else. They closed it down. They brought in 35 people. That was our group with Adventures by Disney. We got to tour the museum and the Sistine Chapel privately for a little over 2 hours, and it was absolutely amazing. It was one of the highlights of the trip. Gwen can vouch for this, but we walked into the Sistine Chapel and probably spent 5 minutes in silence. There was nobody talking, nobody making any sounds. Everybody was in awe of what we were seeing.
It was such an overwhelming experience emotionally because, of just the history behind it, but also the simple fact that we were just, it was just us, and it was such an intimate moment. It was just really, I've got like.
Just talking about it right now, kind of reliving the moment.
It was such an amazing experience that, and I've heard comments since I've been back that people have gone, before, and they were like, we were in there smashed up against other people, and we weren't allowed to take pictures, and we had the whole thing to ourselves. It was incredible.
We got to take pictures because
we got to take pictures.
That's something that you can only do with Adventures by Disney. Nobody else gets to do that.
Well, it's something where they were able to arrange basically an exclusive experience. Whereas if you do something with another travel group or something like that, while it may give you access to the area, you're doing it with a collection of other people. But what Adventures by Disney has done is they've given you kind of access to the whole area privately.
Right,
exactly.
So it really does stand out as far as a unique experience, because then you really get a chance to take in, how beautiful the place is, how large of an area you're talking about. I mean, it's, I guess probably the word spectacular probably doesn't even capture it.
Yeah. Sure. Oh no. Yeah. Well, and something else is that you're not just going in a big room and staring around, not really understanding what you're looking at, but you had the history provided. She was explaining what the pictures meant, what the certain, the different things in the room meant, and so that made it even more special.
Sure. Just being able to hear, the history, like Gwen said, the history of everything that we were seeing. It was just touching to me, just going in there. If I were just to go in there on my own with 25,000 people, of course not in that one room, but if I were to go in there with the shoulder to shoulder with other people and looking up, I'm just looking at pictures. It doesn't really mean the same as it did, because she knew the history, and we told you in our last segment that she had to be trained for 5 years to do this, so she knew the history of each picture and what each picture meant, and that was special. That was...
It really just brought it all to life and made it such a deep, meaningful experience.
Yeah.
Well, the context of understanding the art and understanding kind of the historical significance of the area, the Adventures by Disney guides were able to kind of help give you that foundation to really recognize really what you were looking at. Well, I'll tell you, before we go on, anything else to add about visiting that area, or what would you say is the next highlight from there?
Well, the next highlight is a couple of days later. Well, actually, just the next highlight to get to me was just being able to see Tuscany. I mean, Tuscany was a gorgeous place. The land is full of sunflowers and
olive trees,
vineyards, olive trees. Yeah. I mean, hills, rolling hills and valleys, and if you want to see something beautiful, that's the place to see. I mean, it was absolutely breathtaking. But the next day, to give you a little bit of an idea of our service, the level of service that Adventures by Disney provides, they told us to set our luggage outside the door. It's much like going on a Disney cruise. You know how it is when you debark. They want you to set your luggage outside your stateroom, and then they pick it up for you. But we had to set our luggage outside the room at 7 a.m. After that, we didn't see our luggage again until we got to our rooms that evening. To me, that's important, because I'm not having to lug my suitcase around everywhere. We didn't have to touch a thing. They took care of all of that for us.
Yeah.
As somebody who's carried his family to Europe, and we had to kind of schlep the luggage around and deal with airports and deal with taxis or subways or whatever, I can personally vouch that having somebody to help with the luggage, not really having to worry about it, is something that is a value there. So all right, from there they handled the luggage, and what actually happened?
We took a not just any bus, but a Mercedes
motor coach. The nicest bus I've ever seen, or motor coach I've ever seen.
It was. I mean, even the seats, you were able to, like the way Gwen and I were sitting, she was on the inside, I was on the outside. I could push a little button and slide my seat over to give us room between ourselves. I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah.
There was, oh my goodness, it was just amazing.
When we were leaving Rome, they actually played over the speaker in the motor coach, Arrivederci Roma, which is a song, that was very fitting, because we were leaving Rome, headed to Tuscany, and it was such a sweet moment, just because, it gave us time to reflect, as we were driving by, all the places that we had seen in Rome were listening to this song. And so I will forever have that song in my mind. I mean, I've actually gone around singing it since I've been back, just because I mean it was a really special moment, and it wasn't a big, huge thing, but it just meant a lot to everybody on there.
Yeah, and not just that, our Italian adventure guide, he sang along with the song. So he sang to us.
Yeah. He loved to sing to us.
But I felt the same way, and I've listened to the song several times since I got home. That was fun. We took the bus from there to Tuscany. Actually, we stopped in a little town called Orvieto, which was it's a medieval hill town. So we had to take a funicular up to the top of the hill where the town was, and we just saw a glimpse of the town. I've studied some on it since we visited, and there's so much more to it than what we saw. But what we got to see was just amazing. I mean, we had some neat experiences there. We went to a little magic shop, and I can't remember the name of it, something about eyes, but the gentleman who owned the shop, of course, he did not speak English at all. He spoke Italian, and he had us to go around to different places in his shop and make little touches of, he had little touches of magic, and he had us touch different things, and magic would happen, and it was a neat experience. We had gelato.
My favorite was the big village when you touched a whole village like lit up and came to life, roller coasters, and it was so neat. Yeah,
it was fun.
Well, now, all right. So you took you took a bus directly to Tuscany. How many days were you there in Tuscany?
We were in Tuscany, 3 nights?
3 nights.
Yeah, 3 nights.
Orvieto was a stop along the way, but it was
I see.
Yeah. So.
And then we eventually made it on to Tuscany, or the hotel we were staying at in Tuscany, and
stopped for lunch first.
Right. Oh, that's right.
At Gliu Levi, which is, we got there, and they served the food family style, so we were able to sit at tables with our group, and they served us lasagna and gnocchi and like a barbecue and just, food, fantastic, wonderful, delicious, amazing food that they just kept bringing out. And it was so nice to be able to sit with our group. And it was kind of like a Thanksgiving. I mean, it was really, just a time to rest and just have fun and talk and connect. And then after lunch, we went out to the pool. About half of us swam, half of us just laid out, at the pool, and just a beautiful view of all of the olive trees. Gliu Levi means field of olive trees, and that's exactly what it was. That's what you were looking at, and it was just beautiful. It's a nice time to just, relax, and because we had been so busy in Rome, it was nice to have that downtime, before we ended up in Tuscany. So
yeah. And then we also had a cooking demonstration. We had it's called nonna cake, but it's grandmother's cake in our language. But we had a lady that came out, and she showed us how to make nonna cake. And then we all got to taste of it as we were sitting leisurely around the pool.
Right.
But it was neat, just the whole experience there, being able to see that location and experience just the downtime, like Gwen said, and then getting to know our other group members. That was really special. It was like she said, it's like sitting around for Thanksgiving, or a family gathering. It was a nice day, very relaxing day. But we left there, headed on to our hotel, which was Hotel Borgo di Cortafreda, I think. I think that's how you say it. It was a great place. It was a small, quaint, almost like a bed and breakfast, a little larger than that, but it was just a very nice hotel. They took spectacular care of us. That evening, we had dinner there at the hotel, and I'll tell you something that I was a little concerned about from the beginning. They have a wine tasting, and I don't drink wine, so I was a little concerned about, how I would how I would react to that night. And do you know that this is the service, this is the level of service that Disney provides? Everybody tasted their wines, and while they were tasting the wines, they brought me Italian soda to try. So I had
Different
5
types.
different flavors of Italian soda. I mean, how, you don't get that in other places. You either participate or you don't.
Right.
That level of service, to me, that showed me that they cared enough about me that they wanted me to be participating. That was amazing to me. That was one of the things that just kind of set things off for me. I was like, this is incredible. I mean, that they would take that, and do that for me. They didn't have to do that. I could have just sat there and watched everybody, but they were kind enough to make that happen. But anyway.
They ended up making some special accommodations kind of for your sensitivities, and obviously they're trying to make it an excellent experience all around, regardless of your take on things.
Sure.
All right, so in Tuscany, let's carry the conversation further. What did we do next?
The next day we had breakfast at the hotel, and we got to go to a farm that is a organic, 100% organic farm, 95% self-sufficient. We took a pasta making class, which was, I think, one of the highlights of my trip. That was so much fun. I mean, just a room full of people laughing and just smiling and having the best time. And so after we made the pasta, we went and toured the farm. We got to tour their where they make the wine, and we got to go and see the animals. And we made half of the group split and went to go taste wine, while the other half made infused olive oil, which we did, which was a lot of fun too.
That was fun.
Yeah, and then after that, the farm tour, we got to eat lunch on a deck overlooking, a beautiful view. Another beautiful view, of course, it's Tuscany. And we ate, the best pasta I've ever had in my life. It was, 100% everything made there, grown on the farm or made from scratch in their kitchen, and it was, incredible. And the person that actually gave us the tour and did our pasta making class was one of the owners of the farm, and she's written a book. She's actually going to be at Epcot this year for Food and Wine Festival, and I think I don't remember the date.
November 16th, I believe.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, wow.
So it was really cool to be able to meet her. She was so sweet.
Yeah. And look, really, her name is Sarah Fiorini. So look for her and look for her book.
Yes.
So if you go to Walt Disney World, look for her. Sorry.
All right, so we're in Venice. We've had some.
We're in Tuscany.
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 This was the highlight day of.
This was the highlight day.
This was my favorite day of the whole trip.
Oh wow!
Yeah, every day was great. It seemed like it got better and better and better, but I still don't think anything topped that day for me.
Me either.
Wow.
The night, we can't pass the night because
no, absolutely not, because that was my favorite part.
Yeah. We went to a castle. I think it was Castel di Oliveto, or however you say it.
Mm-hmm.
Here I'm trying to speak Italian. I hadn't quite got it. I got Andiamo. We know that.
Yeah, Andiamo.
Andiamo. But we went to a castle, and we had dinner out on the grounds. That they had covered. I guess you would. It's a tent, maybe. I don't know. What do you call that? Not a tent, but a
canopy. I guess.
Canopy. Thank you. But we had dinner there. Tons of food.
Overlooking the valley too, which
most
you can't top it.
Place that I can recall seeing was
ever.
There.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, in my life.
Ever.
In my life.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. Of course, they brought out all kinds of food, and it was family style, the same. We passed food around, set at big tables together, and lots of meats and vegetables and
Renaissance type food.
Yes, Renaissance type foods.
Yeah.
But they finished the night off with a little show. They had some actors that came out and singers and they came out and did a show, and they involved part of our group, you know, as far as some of their show situations, and then
this was just for our group. There were people that were eating there in the castle that kept coming out and looking like, what's going on out here? You know, this was just our group. That they came just for us, so that was so cool. You know, they got everybody up dancing, and everybody was clapping, and it was just old Italian kind of folk music, and it was so fun. I think that was everybody was smiling. I mean, just it was there's not really a word to describe it. I can't.
No, it was fun.
It was very fun. So.
Then okay, so then we'll move on, since we're kind of in a hurry here, and it's
I think looking at the time already, and considering we still have another, we still need to make it to Venice. Might I suggest that we make this a 3-part series as far as Adventures by Disney, because we've got about 3 or 4 minutes before we need to wrap it up. And
that's fine with me.
I think there's a lot of stories here to tell, and folks, when they're looking for an investment, making that investment decision and going with an Adventures by Disney travel experience, I think it's worthwhile to share a little bit more about these details. So I'll tell you what, we've got about 3 or 4 minutes left to wrap up. Why don't we try to finish up a little bit here as far as Tuscany, and then we will pick up with part 3 and with Venice as well, and some of the other stops that you've got as well. So let's try to finish up. Where are we in Venice here? Where else do we need
We're
to
still in Tuscany.
Oh, Tuscany. I'm getting confused. y'all got so much.
I'll tell you, again, this was my favorite day, and you know, we were able to go into the castle and look outside of the castle and see the moon, which was
sunset.
You know, the sunset and then the moon, and it was just an amazing experience. Everything about that day, and I'll tell you, every day at the end of the day, you get a little surprise that goes back home with you. So, you know, if you do this, just keep in mind that you're going to get some little surprises along the way. But it's just, there's nothing like it. Can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, and our last day in Tuscany, we actually took a bus to Florence, where we got to tour around. We got to see, we got to go see David. We got to see the town. Our tour, or not our tour guide, but our local expert showed us a lot of different places there, including a museum that we got to go to. We went to the Disney store, and we ended our night back in our hotel watching the sunset from our room, setting in the Valley of Tuscany. So it was a perfect ending to our Tuscany days. Watching that sunset and having dinner at the hotel, which was phenomenal. So,
well, I definitely think we need to do part 3 as well. We'll
That's
end
the
it
end
at
of
this
Tuscany,
point.
though. So we'll do Venice on the part 3.
We're going to do part 3 covering Venice. So y'all need to stay tuned for part 3 coming up. As we always do with each of our segments, we always have a tip of the day. And ladies, we're going to make it real short, but I'll start with you Monday. What is your tip of the day?
Well, my tip is if you think about doing an Adventures by Disney trip, be prepared. It is not a relaxing vacation. It is it's an adventure, and that's exactly what it is. It's an adventure, and it's you're on the go. I know you have downtime, so don't think that you're not going to be able to rest any, but just be prepared, because this is something that you're moving a lot, you're walking a lot, you're seeing a lot of things that are historical, or maybe you're doing you know, adventure type experiences. So just plan to be, you know, it'd be good to maybe go to the gym or go outside and walk. You know, get some 30-minute sessions in a couple times to build your stamina.
It's a physical experience. Gwen, what is your tip of the day?
Just don't be afraid if you have, you know, limitations like food allergies or like, you know, the mobility issues. Just talk to your travel professional at Magic and Mickey Travel. You know, Adventures by Disney was so accommodating. There were several people on our trip who had food allergies, and they were so accommodating. So, you know, it's just, don't let that set you back from going. Just be sure and talk to one of your travel professional, and we'll be able to explain more more, but they're so accommodating. So
excellent, excellent. My tip of the day, I'm going to shift gears, and we're going to Walt Disney World Resort. Been asked many times before, when is the best time to visit? And I'll say this, there's not really a fast and hard rule about it. My recommendation is you might want to look maybe at dates between mid-September and late October, or January, or late January to early March. It's not a guarantee, and in fact, I would highly recommend you talk to a travel professional so they can research whether or not there may be some special events or conventions that are going on that might affect your visit. Well, ladies, thank you. I think we're going to be doing a part 3, and we do need to wrap it up. I'd like to thank for you, the guests, for tuning in. I'd also like to thank Monday and Gwen and Magic of Mickey Travel. Well, that's it. In 30 minutes or less, for all your Disney travel needs, reach out to any of the dream makers at Magic of Mickey Travel. And for more travel tips, please subscribe below or check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and soon to be on the Traveling Dad Network. You can also reach us on our blog website, 3minutetraveltips.com. Thanks for watching.